Hey guys, welcome back for another yin class. Today we're going to be revisiting the spine. We're just going to be extending this practice out a little bit. You guys want to make sure that we can meet all your yoga needs, so whether you have that short amount of time or a little bit longer to take out of your day to give your spine some love, we've got you covered. So as always, find your comfortable seat. Before you do, actually, make sure you have a prop, either a pillow or a yoga block, but just a regular pillow is fine. You can have it off to the side or you can be sitting on it. But find that comfortable seat. Eyes closed down. Length through the spine. We're going to start just some slow breaths into the belly. With our yin practice, we want these breaths to be really gentle. We're not forcing, we're not pushing like in our vinyasa or other yang practices. Here we're just letting it flow. Some strength, some length through the spine. This is where we're going to be focusing a lot of our attention today. One more round of breath. We start to move with the first part of the spine, the cervical spine, the neck. Start gently to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Keep the length through the rest of the spine, don't round over. Keep the chest proud. Maybe you start to walk the left fingertips away. We're lengthening the left side. Now only you know what depth is right for you, so constantly throughout this practice I want you to check in. Check in with your body and the sensation. Is it right for you? And that doesn't always necessarily mean you're at the end of your range. In the end, we're encouraging space. We're not forcing anything. Take one more breath here. Slowly back through center. Allow the left ear to move to the left shoulder. And again, a gentle check of your awareness, a little scan of the body. How is the sensation? Is it enough? Is it too much? Do I want to come out of it a little bit, or do I want to take it a little bit further? There's no right and no wrong in this practice. And the awareness of what the body is going through. Breathing into that space from the right shoulder to the right ear. One more round. Gently back towards neutral. If you started to round over, sit up straight again. Keep that length through the spine. We're going to rotate through the neck, through the cervical spine. So start to gently look over your right shoulder, but keep the crown of the head lifting up. Keep looking here, and instead of, if you want to go further, trying to crank your neck, think about drawing your left shoulder back. It's a lot more beneficial to invite these movements from the big, stable, strong parts of our body. One more breath. Back towards center, then begin to look over the left shoulder. The body doesn't move. The body stays stable and heavy. And if you want a little more, think right shoulder draws back. And what we're doing here is working through the 3 movements the neck can make. We've done lateral flexion. We're in rotation now. And after one more breath here, moving back towards center, we move into flexion and extension. So firstly, flexion of the cervical spine, start to drop the chin towards the chest, but keep the length through the spine, through the neck. Now by flexing the neck, we're starting to get into the back fascial line, so you may feel this in your neck, or maybe as far down as your lower back. Know that it's fine. Wherever you feel sensation is probably where you need to feel sensation. Just make sure the rest of the spine is lifting up. Begin to lift the crown of your head. Keep it moving until it starts to fall back and your chin is journeying towards the ceiling or the sky. If you can, from wherever you are, stick your chin out a little bit more. Slowly back towards center. Now those are the 3 movements the neck can make. Everything else is just a combination of them. If your eyes are closed, start to blink them open. We're moving to a kneeling position. So here the hips are directly over the knees. If this is a bit uncomfortable for your knees, feel free to fold your mat over. Coming into melting heart pose. So you can bring your prop anywhere underneath you. Arms are coming out in front. Dropping the chest down to the earth, keeping the hips directly over the knees. And here what we're doing is we're extending through our thoracic spine, our upper back. So by creating that high point with the hips and then allowing the chest to sink down, creating this opening through the upper back. Continue to breathe into that space. If you can, release through the chest a little bit more. Take one more long, slow round of breath. And really gently start to push yourself back to a rounded over child's pose. If you can, have your knees together. If this affects your breathing, bring your knees out wide. Once you get there, try and round over through the upper body. If your knees are together, let your torso melt over your legs. So we're no longer extending through the thoracic spine, the upper back. We're rounding over and flexing. And when I say flexing, I just mean the movement. We're not super tensed up, we're relaxed. This posture is soft. Treat this resting posture just how you would any other one. There's still that awareness, there's no judgment. The sensations going on in the body, they're just there. Nothing's forced. Slowly start to lift back up. You can move your prop, lay down on your back. Now this next posture, start to bring your arms over your head. And then slowly start to walk your feet and your hands over to the right, to the left side, sorry. Your hips stay heavy. Lengthening the whole right side of the torso. Now we have this lateral flexion of the spine, even though it's very gentle. If you want to anchor down more, you can take one ankle, one wrist over the other. You have these three heavy anchor points, your feet, your hips, and your hands, and everything else is falling into the space in between those points. Now the sensation here doesn't have to be super intense. Our yin practice is gentle and subtle. Try and find that in every posture. Maybe you close down the eyes and focus on the breath moving into the side body. Really gently start to move back towards center. We're going to take a moment here. You can have your arms overhead or down by your sides, but just notice how one side of the body feels compared to the other. Again, there's no judgment. One side doesn't feel better or worse, just different. Let all of those sensations settle. Now we move to the other side. The hands and the feet over to the left. Now if this is too much with the hands overhead, you can keep them down by your sides. Then the three anchor points, the feet, the hips and the hands, changes to the feet, the hips and the shoulders. Whatever option you choose, whatever path you take, just make sure it's right for you, nobody else. As much as we share this practice, it's very individual. More than we're sharing a practice, we're sharing a community. Practice changes student to student, person to person. The community is what we have in common. Eventually find yourself moving back towards center. Bring your arms back down by your sides. Take a moment to let all of this beautiful sensation land. Let it settle. Slowly start to hug your knee into your chest. A big loving hug, then slowly, keeping your shoulders heavy on the ground, let them fall over to the right side. After that lateral flexion, now we're working with thoracic rotation. If you want to feel a little more supported here, bring your bolster underneath or in between your legs. But if you can, keep your shoulders heavy. Allow them to stay to the earth. All of that tension through the spine melt away. Twisting is such a beautiful shape for letting go. Every time you breathe out, set yourself that little challenge to let go a tiny bit more. Physically, as well as whatever else you're holding on to. Just for one more breath. When you're ready, move back towards center. Your legs out long. Take a moment to notice how this sensation is landing for you. It may be different. For each of you, it may be different from one practice to the next. We always have that awareness, but never with judgment. We begin to move towards the other side. The knees hug in. Always a loving hug, then let them fall to the left. Again, shoulders stay heavy. If you use your prop on the other side, use it on this one as well. Our bodies are totally different one side to the other, but we want to work them as symmetrically as we can, all while understanding that they can be different. adjustments you make are always welcome. Just make sure they're mindful. There's a difference between moving to enhance your experience in the pose and fidgeting. Moving to enhance your experience is always welcome. Can let go any more, let go. Maybe you decide the prop isn't for you. You want to release a little more, that's fine, but again, make sure everything you do is mindful. Everything you do has purpose. One more breath. All the way down into your belly. And begin to journey back towards center. Arms by your side. Take a moment. Take a moment to become aware of your body. We should have that all the time, but sometimes we lose it. That's okay. Just as there's no judgment, when we look at the sensation in our body, there's no judgment. When that level of awareness falls off. Really slowly start to bring your feet towards your sitting bone. I'm going to suggest everyone using their prop here as you lift your hips up. If you have a pillow, you may need to fold it over. Coming into a supported bridge. Now here, you have a few different options, a few different paths to try out. The first one is keeping the knees bent. But no matter where you are, a little roll of your shoulders underneath. Or you can start to extend your legs. Either way, what we're working towards here is this gentle extension through the spine. This gentle opening through the front line. Now here, one thing really important to double check is that your prop isn't placed on your lower back, it's placed underneath your hips. So if you need to make any little adjustments, make them. Again, make sure they're mindful. But we want this long, continuous extension, not a sharp cranking into the lower back. Once you've found the right variation for you, start to settle in. Feel your body melt over the prop. And we're inviting this sensation. We're not forcing, we're not pushing. Slowly start to walk your feet back in if they were sent long. Remove the prop. From here, all we're doing is using our elbows to push up towards a seat. We're coming into caterpillar pose. Paschimottanasana if you're a Vinyasa Yang practitioner. Still making sure the sitting bones are moving back. The first thing we're doing here is creating length through the spine. You can have your prop out in front. From here we think chin towards chest. Begin to round over through the spine. This is the only activity. Yeah? We do want to make sure that we're not sending our spine backwards. We're rounding over the legs. So the sitting bones are still moving back. The chin towards the chest. Start to land. You can use your prop as a little more support. Gonna be here for a while. So whatever sensations come up, let them come, just be in this stillness. And notice how the posture changes over the duration. Notice if the position of the sensation shifts. Notice if you feel yourself moving deeper. Be with it all, allow it all to happen. Move mindfully if you need to. Everything we do in this yin practice is subtle. But if you can, sink a little deeper. As slowly as you can. Start to roll down onto your back. You've made it. Shavasana, a final resting pose. Send your legs out long. Maybe you bring in a prop underneath your knees. By bending the knees, taking this small tilt through the pelvis, lengthening out the spine. Maybe you roll your shoulders underneath. Any little movements you need to get out, get them out now so we can be in this stillness that we've worked to cultivate. Allow this blanket of stillness to move over you. Surround you with its loving embrace and just be here. Feel yourself getting heavier and heavier. Until you feel as though yourself and the mat are almost part of one another. Breath is an active You're not the one moving. There's no need for action, no need for activity. You're just observing everything that's going on within your body. can, start to bring some awareness back to your breath. Notice your belly rising and falling. Start to take some really small movements in your fingers and in your toes. Find yourself rolling to your favorite side. Begin to journey towards a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes closed, but when you get there, bring your hands to your heart. Gently bow your head. Take a moment to acknowledge your practice and the practice of everyone else. As always, I leave you with what Maharaji left Ram Dass: love everybody, tell the truth. Namaste. Thanks so much, guys, as always, for practicing with us. You might have noticed that we're starting to go around to a few local businesses, film there, and talk about the places we go. If you guys know of anywhere, if you have a business yourself that you'd like to be involved with Open Door Yoga, please reach out, let us know. Love to hear from you guys. See you next time.